Greetings everyone, this is Liminality Carb, and today we are starting something different. This is going to be the first in hopefully a series of videos to try to help people get into Curse Cracker speedrunning. This video is going to focus primarily on the different movement options that you have, including both basic movement options and advanced movement options, and the terminology that I'm going to end up using in future episodes. So this will pretty much be referenced in those, so you have a common point to look back to. We're going to start with Belle, and one thing I'm fairly certain not everyone knows, if you end up coming to the school that's right here above Grevenfell in the map, you can go ahead and talk to Maggie to get some advanced movement lessons. Now, these aren't that advanced, but these tell you some basic things, such as down and jump lets you do a higher jump. Just to illustrate, we can't get up to here unless we do the high jump. Also, if you look in the bottom right-hand corner, you'll see an input viewer just so that you can tell what buttons I am pressing for everything. Now, for this one, it's saying that you basically need to do a slide and then jump. I find it easier to do, rather than forward and then down, just do a diagonal, and then as you're sliding, you end up jumping. This is how you do a long jump. And now, something you've probably figured out by now, but just in case, you're able to bounce off of Chime to get up to higher positions. Now I'm going to come over here for a second, because we're going to also show something else. As you can see, I'm getting basically just to the top of that one block there if I do it this way, but you can get a lot higher if you jump. Basically, if you throw Chime up and jump so that you have a little bit extra momentum. This is known as a Smartyboy jump, and is actually used to get one of the cannons when you are doing a arcade run or any of the categories that allow you to use the cannons. Now, let's get into some of the techniques Belle can do that Maggie doesn't tell you about. As you're probably well aware, there are these jump pads that once you touch them, you get launched up to a certain height. In the case of this one, we're launched up to about the height of that grab ring. However, if you jump right as you touch it, not exactly as you touch it, but a little bit afterwards, the closer the timing, the better for your height. As you can see, you get rocketed. And the closer the timing, the higher you go. Too late, you don't go as high. Too early, and you end up just getting a normal one. But the timing is basically touch jump, and touch jump, and touch jump. You can look at the input viewer in the bottom right to sort of see what I'm doing. Again, I'm basically only hitting the jump button, but just go ahead and do that. Now, you can do this with no items, but there are ways to get super bounces with a double jump that lets you use other things than just this jump pad. With a double jump, such as what you get from the Grave Mask, you can do a super bounce off of these little bouncy ball things. So, normally, if you try to just hit it and then do a second double jump, you don't really go too high. But as you're kind of starting to see, because I'm getting the timing already, just like with the button, if you do your double jump right after, it's a little hard with the two of them here, but there we go. If you do it right after you do the bounce, you can go really high. However, you do have to be careful. If you do the timing too early, you actually will cancel the momentum you get from the bounce, and you will end up not going anywhere. So you see here, I'm doing it too early, but a little bit of a delay. There we go, that's the proper delay. A little bit of a delay, and we go rocketing all the way up. You can also combine this with Chime. So, just do a Chime bounce, and time it right as Chime would hit you, and you go super high. Again, if you time it too late, you won't go nearly as high, The later you do it, the less height you'll actually get. And if you do it too early, you'll also basically have Chime hit you after you've done your jump. The goal with all of these super bounces is effectively trying to have it whereas the game is telling Belle to jump at a certain velocity upwards, and you're then telling it to do it a second time, and effectively combines those to have her rocket instead of just going the standard height that she should. In addition to being able to do the super bounce off of these bouncy balls, off of buttons, and I didn't mention it, but you can also do it with the height you get from bouncing off of enemies. You can also do it with the momentum you get from these rings. So normally, as you can see, we just sort of go up to about there, but we can go significantly higher. One thing to note with the rings is just like with the balls, if you do it too early, you end up canceling the momentum from the ring rather than actually multiplying. But if you time it correctly, you go super high. And thankfully with the rings, you kind of have a little bit more leeway just because of how much speed they're giving you. But if you combine things like the rings and the chime bounce, you can do things like this room real quick. This room now only takes us 3 bounces really to do. 1 super bounce, a normal jump, and there we go. Yeah, so super bounces are really important, and it will take a little bit of time to get used to the timing, and even then, you'll still have some mess-ups from time to time, but it is very important to learn because it is going to be the bread and butter for a lot of tricks in this game. And the last technique to show off with Belle is the Chime-a-pault. This can get you very far vertically, very fast, and it's basically what we're doing is we're combining a long jump and throwing Chime down diagonally. You don't have to do it with a long jump, but I find it to be a lot easier to do it that way. Because as you saw, if you just do a short hop, you can sometimes get it as well. But this is one that will take a little bit of practice to do, but it's basically just like that. You long jump throw, and then Chime immediately bounces you into the air. I'm not perfect at it, as you can see, but there are points where this can be quite useful. As a quick example of a use of the Chime-a-pault, in this room in 1-1, you can just use it to immediately get up here in one real smooth motion. So what you effectively do is enter here, Chime-a-pault, and you are already over here. There's one more thing I'd like to show off, and it's something that feels a little weird, but it'll make sense in a second. So if you notice, I can't make it from that one bouncy ball over to there. I can hold button, but it doesn't quite get me there. But if I throw Chime, it basically gives you a little bit of extra hang time so you can make jumps that you wouldn't normally be able to make. It doesn't give you a ton, but it gives you just enough extra lag time that you can make just small little adjustments. In general, you won't need to worry about that until you are doing much more optimized paths, but it is something to have in your back pocket in the event of you think you're about to miss a jump and you want to just give yourself that little bit of extra hang times, because let's be honest, falling down here is a lot more of a time loss than waiting for Belle to throw Chime. Now, let's talk about the Spark Bracelet. The Spark Bracelet is only accessible to you if you have a save file that has 100%ed the game. That means you have collected all the roses, all the books, all the swords, all the fragments, all the medals, completed every stage. You can tell because your save file will say 100% on it. Once you have that, you just bring a key to Maggie's school, and then come over to this room, and you can get the Spark Bracelet. Everything that we've shown that you can do with the Grave Mask, such as all the easier super bounces, you can also do with the Spark Bracelet. However, the Spark Bracelet also has a additional thing. So when I say you can do all the same things with the Grave Mask, that's because the Spark Bracelet also has a double jump. But if you are in the air and use the use button, you do this flying kick. You also do the flying kick on the ground as well, and it kind of acts like a long jump to a degree. However, if you keep on just doing alternating between use item and jump, you can basically fly through levels. This chain lightning is basically, once you start doing Spark Bracelet categories, that's how you're just going to fly through entire levels. And just to show a quick demonstration of this, let's just go through the first screen of 1-1 just so you see. If you ever have done Mario World, well, you don't want to die like that, but if you've ever done Mario World, this is going to feel very similar to the cape. And with that, we've gone through all of Belle's techniques. Hopefully this has helped so that you now have an idea as to what sort of movement options you have with Belle. But Belle is not the only one you can play Curse Crackers as. You can also play the game as Bonnie. To unlock Bonnie, you need to complete a bunch of tasks as Belle, such as getting all the archway pieces, completing the stage that's behind the archway, which means you need to complete the book world first, and once that is done, which also means you've completed the game, you will be able to play as Bonnie. Bonnie has a few nuances that you need to be aware of, however, if you do play as her. First of all, as you can see in this comparison, Bonnie's jump does not go quite as high as Belle's. Bonnie does have a high jump, but that gets her to about as high as Belle's normal jump compared to how much higher Belle's high jump gets. Bonnie also does not have Chime, but she can throw her scythe just fine. And the scythe will not bounce against things, it goes out a set distance, and then it returns to you. In addition, Bonnie runs faster. So, in this comparison, I'm going to try to have us be lined up pretty much the same. And then, once we both start, as you can see, Bonnie has exited the stage much faster than Belle did. Bonnie also has a dodge roll. Well, not really a dodge roll, but a roll. This is done by doing the same inputs as Belle's long jump. And if you do this into an enemy, you kill them. Which is very good, because you can throw a scythe into an enemy to kill them, but Bonnie cannot jump on enemies normally. However, if you press the use item button, if you see Bonnie has this slam, Bonnie can land on enemies only while she is slamming, and then she does a bounce. Now, two nuances you need to know about the slam. First of all, you cannot slam while your scythe is out. You need the scythe to be able to do the slam. As you've probably seen here, you can also throw your scythe while you're in the middle of the slam to try to cancel it out. Because Bonnie, if you notice, she's kind of sticking to the wall if I press up against it here. That's because Bonnie can wall jump. However, she will not stick to the wall while she is slamming. So to do that, you'd have to basically throw the scythe there. I'll try to show it off in a better area. In addition, if you slam and hit the ground, as you can kind of see, once I hit the ground, I'll start holding left. It takes Bonnie a while before she's able to move again. However, I'll try to do this as a side-by-side. If you throw, you can start moving significantly sooner. This is a side-by-side example of the two different options. As you can see, the Bonnie that is throwing her scythe is managing to start moving significantly faster than the one that just finishes the slam animation. Now, as I mentioned, Bonnie has a wall jump. You can just stick to a wall and constantly jump up walls with Bonnie, which is very useful. However, you can also get a super jump. This is done very similar to how you would do the super jump with Belle, only you're pressing different buttons. So by pressing the use item button, which gives you the slam, right after you jump off of a wall, you get yourself a super jump. And you can then just throw the scythe to just keep on going up. This will be very useful, and I believe, yeah, you can also combine this with other things similar to Belle, of these bouncy balls, the flowers. I believe you can also do it with the rings as well. However, there's one button I haven't been pressing. The recall chime button will take up 100 magic and put you into riot mode. While in riot mode, you just fly and you go through all these thin platforms that would normally require a phantom flan to be able to go through. While in this mode, you can swing your scythe, but you don't throw it. If you press the jump, let's actually go back over here and not into the door. If you press the jump button, you'll shoot in a direction. Generally, it'll be based off of whatever direction you last went, so you generally want to make sure you press something. However, if you notice, going diagonal kind of is slow compared to just up and down. You can also press the circle button, and you temporarily become intangible. That will prevent you from getting hit by an enemy, because even though in this mode, just to show it off, you are invincible, I didn't take any health, every hit against an enemy makes me lose more magic, because that magic is constantly ticking down. However, if you use the dash, you don't take any damage, and you can phase through things as well. There is a cooldown period, as you can see, when you can do the intangibility again, and that is defined, or that is shown by the item in the upper area, in the item use, or in the equipped item area. If you want to leave riot mode, you just press the recall chime button again, and you're back as normal Bonnie. I hope these explanations have helped everyone out. As I said, in future videos, I will be making reference to this video. And, yeah. I hope everyone has enjoyed. I hope this helps people get more used to how movement in this game is. Hopefully it's maybe entices a few people to start picking up this game. But with that, I'll see you all next time. Take care.